Hi everyone, welcome to another video for SimonsSaysStamp.com. Today I'm starting out with some 120-pound ultra thick white cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm scoring it at 5.5 so that it becomes a side folding card, but I'm not going to fold it down quite yet because I'm going to do a lot of stamping. Using this really thick cardstock, I sometimes find it helps to score it on both sides of the cardstock. That helps it fold better later. I'm using this new stamp set from Paper Smooches. This is the first aid kit stamp set. And I'm just lining up all of the images that I'm going to be using on my card front here, trying to decide exactly the spacing and how I want it to be on my stamp press before I put it on. I'm taking a T-square ruler and I'm lining it up with the edge, the left edge of my card base here. And that's going to give me a straight line to make sure that those stamps are on there just perfectly. And without removing the ruler, I'll press that onto my stamp press and lift up, and the stamps are on the stamp press exactly where I want them to be. This is a great thing to do if you're going to be doing multiple cards. This card would be a great card to make duplicates of because it's super easy, it works up fast, and you can do all the stamping all in one step after you have it on the stamp press. So I'm using some Memento Tuxedo Black ink today because I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring, and Memento ink works really well with Copics. It plays well with others, basically, and it's not going to smear your Copic coloring into the black ink or anything like that. So just stamped that onto my card front there. It took a little bit of extra time to press those in. And now I'm using Eclipse masking paper. I'm stamping all of my little images really tight and hugging each other up there in the top corner because I want to save as much of this masking paper as possible. Just cutting out a little corner, and then I put it right back in the same little bag and I turn it over so I can see where that little corner is taken out of. So I'll be sure to use that piece of Eclipse masking paper next time. Then use my scissors and cut out my little images. I'm just masking them off. I'm going to be doing some airbrushing with the Copic marker. So I want to preserve these areas white so I can color them in later. So here's the airbrush system. I'm just using the D60 air can and the little, I don't know, I guess that's the actual airbrush that goes on top. This is how it comes together with this little can of air and then the little trigger on top. I'm using BG01 for this, and you just take the chisel tip and push it into the airbrush system, and then you can use your finger on that little trigger on the very top, and as you press that down, color will come out. It's a really pale blue, so it might be a little bit hard to see at this point, but believe me, it was putting out some color. So I'm just going to start spraying this. I kind of want to give all of the stamped images and even the sentiment a little bit of a blue glow. So I noticed that my air was running out, so I ended up switching to a different air can. I switched to one that's larger, and I'll show you the size difference here in a minute. So just using kind of like a short pumping motion on that trigger to get a little bit of color coming out, and you can see how it has a little bit of that blue glow right now. So I'll take the marker off and put that away, and then I'll show you the size comparison. This is the 180 versus the D60, which you saw earlier, and it just has a lot more air in the can, so it'll last a little bit longer. So I'm just peeling off those masks, and you can see how the color difference between the blue, the pale blue, and then the areas where I masked off. So now I'm going to do some really simple Copic coloring, just a few colors used. I'm using YR24 on the very top of this crutch, kind of like that kind of beigey color that the UOSC have, that crutches have. And I'm just, instead of adding another color to shade it, I just colored over that edge again to give it a little bit more darkness. I'm using C4, it's a cool gray for that bottom part of the crutch. I'm using two red colors. I'm using R35 and R39 on the bottom part of this thermometer. I used the lighter color first and then went over the darker color. These colors have quite a bit of difference in them, and so they don't blend quite as well. So I took the lighter red and tipped it, touched the tip to the tip of the darker red, and that pulls in a little bit of that darker color into the tip of the lighter marker, and then as you color it out, it blends a little bit better. Using E50 just to give a little bit of a cream color to the thermometer. And then for the window on the thermometer, I'm using BG01, which is that same color we used in the airbrush system. and BG000 to blend it out to a lighter color on the one side. For the Band-Aid, I'm using E50, E53, and E55. And I started with E53 and sort of flicked in from the edges where I wanted most of the shading to be. And then I followed that with E53, just coloring in a little bit from the side and also a little bit from the bottom because I wanted that kind of bottom corner to be a little bit darker. So I went back with E50 and sort of blended that out. I wanted to color in the entire Band-Aid with E50 to get the cardstock wet so that it would blend the colors better. So now I'm going in with E55, which is the darkest color for the Band-Aid, and I'm only going to put a little bit of this in the most dark areas where I want the shading to be. So just in that bottom corner. And then I'm going to go back with E53, and I'm going to work that away from the darkest areas, trying to get a little more of that shading going. And then I'm going to go back with E50 and do one more little wash over everything, and that's going to blend all of those colors together. It's really kind of an easy way to do shading. Just start from the lightest, go light, medium, dark, medium, light. Just go up and then reverse. Use that same red color on the earpieces for the stethoscope. And then I'm using C4 on the end of the stethoscope as well. That's the same color I used on the crutch. So that's all the color I'm going to be doing today. Time to fold the card. And you'll notice I use a Teflon bone folder to help smooth down the edges of that card. That's going to help with any cracking that might happen. I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper for those corners, just a 1/2 inch corner rounder. And I finished off with some Ranger glossy accents. I did the glossy accents on the little window display on the thermometer, the metal part on the stethoscope, and then the little button on the thermometer as well. I decided I wanted a little bit more black on this, so I took my T-square ruler and lined that up against the bottom portion of the card and used a 0.3 Copic multiliner pen just to draw in a dash line. And that finishes the card for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time.